I just lost a job because of my accent. Really. So I know that sometimes I get comments being like, I don't know what you're talking about. Fair enough, right? But this is a weird one, and I know that on this channel we like to have like essentially a no BS, exactly what's happening for my creator journey. So it's been like 8 months now, full time YouTube. We're on track to have our best month, like almost 2x in cash flow from normal, which is amazing because I've just focused on the business, which is making videos. But last time we spoke, we were projecting a couple of deals to come in, and this idea of like turning us into a media company. And so one of these leads I was following had made a couple of videos for them for this company to try to basically work together, right? And the first one was pretty chill, pretty dull video, if I'm honest, from my perspective, especially now looking back. But it was just like a kind of follow along, walk through type of video. So they gave me some feedback, and one of the feedback points was in regards to my accent being quite hard to follow, hard to understand for especially non native English speakers. So in the second video, I completely upped the quality of everything and I edited it for ages. Spent like a whole day editing it, like literally. Obviously, talking to Claude Code, so I wasn't knuckled down for, you know, 8 hours straight or whatever. It was back and forth with like 30, 40 minute intervals. In any case, the video was much better and I presented it a lot better like this. I thought I enunciated my words a lot clearer, but still, today, over a week and a half since that video, I got a rejection. And the rejection was on the grounds of my accent, which is a bit of a weird one. It's a bit hard to grasp and put your head around. Being a native English speaker from the UK, I understand my accent's broad, but you must acknowledge and understand the weird fact for me, being someone from the UK who never had a problem communicating with other people in my native language until actually when I went to university. And suddenly it was kind of like people like, you know, in their wee American accent, what are you talking about? And so I had to like relearn English. And it's so weird because you have to think a different way. And when you enunciate more, you're thinking a lot about how your mouth moves as opposed to just speaking. So, anyway, basically, I didn't realize that this was going to be something that was going to become a problem for me. And it's going to be particularly problematic considering my entire occupation right now is in front of a camera. It's talking to people. And it's just a really hard thing to notice. So I'm going to figure out how to speak better, more clearly, so that people can understand me a bit better. I'm going to look at like Scottish actors and stuff and see how they do it. The only problem is I don't want to start talking an American accent. That's not my vibe. So I'm going to just need to try and flatten out my Scottish accent a little bit. Which, interestingly, this is me flattening out my Scottish accent a little bit. Because I'd normally say I'm flattening out my Scottish accent a wee bit, but nobody knows what I'm talking about with that. So I have to deliberately speak more English. Yeah. Anyway, so that was a weird life update to give you that we've lost that contract, I guess. So what it has done though is realigned me back to. Oh, if I get stuff on my t-shirt, it's realigned me back towards what I'm doing now. So in a way, it's a blessing in disguise. I always think these things are blessings, and I was kind of praying about it afterwards and realizing that sometimes with these things they're not what you want. They're not the fullness of what you seek, and sometimes you need to fail to realize that. This happens a lot whenever you're actually pursuing some goal. Is once you fail the goal, you realize you never really wanted that full goal in the first place. And sometimes there's an ulterior motive. So this example would be like, you want financial stability, you want maybe more money, whatever it is, and you're happy to do the thing for that, but then you don't get it and you realize, actually maybe this is a blessing. So I thought this and I was praying about it and thinking, that in my opinion here, you could interchange the universe, God, my brain into this phrase, but it will mean the same thing, which is basically it appears that God is not giving me things when money is my God. When I just think about the money, he's continually boxing me into a corner where I have to provide real value for someone, whether that's making websites, automations, or really figuring out the craft of communicating online. He's forcing me into this box to give real value to you, to people in the real world, and help them out. And this is a weird long journey that I'm noticing the more I work from home, remotely, online, which I have done my whole life. I didn't really do any jobs growing up. It was all trying to make money online. If you've ever heard of Swagger, this is like a website where you go and you used to like basically just watch ads, click some stuff, and you would get like swag bucks. That is unlocked to memory. And like you could spend weeks just doing it whilst you're playing Xbox, and then after a couple of weeks you'd have like $20 or whatever it is. So I used to do that kind of thing, and then drop shipping and a bunch of other stuff. Basically, I just tried to do stuff to make money. But a problem I always had with drop shipping was I didn't want to make a quick buck. I wanted a real business. I wanted some tangible asset with flow, cash flow that's real, that's predictable, that's legit. And that kind of drew me away, and I would always fall through my dropshipping e-com stuff because of this. And in any case, basically, I've pursued all this online stuff and then realised that you really need to give value to people. So anyway, it's a bit crazy. I need to go. So there you go.